Hello and welcome back to my studio. Well, recently I showed you how I could correct a painting by scraping the paint off and paint over that. This week I'm going to go into another method of salvaging a painting. So stick around and try this very simple tip to getting something different from an existing painting. Recently I was looking through some paintings and I came across one that I had painted of some cows in a meadow. And while I was happy with the brushwork and the looseness of it, but the painting just seemed to lack that vibrancy that I wanted. For some reason the warm colors hadn't come through sufficiently, and it was really bugging me. And I was thinking of repainting the whole thing on a new panel. But I thought that would get me onto another direction completely. I wanted to build on what was there and try and improve that. So sometimes you just have to paint over a dry painting. Many master artists have done that in the past, and why not one of us? So that's what I did. I put out the panel, got some paints out, and got stuck into painting over what was there, leaving it more or less as the same subject, but getting that vibrancy that I wanted. And it was quite staggering what a difference it made. But anyway, instead of describing everything, let me show you what happened, and you can decide for yourself if the new version was better than the old one. Right, here's the old version. And I'm going to start off with mixing some color for the sky. The sky is such an important part of the painting because that's the source of light. And if you get the sky correct, it all leads on to everything else. So already it's looking much sunnier and brighter. And I hope to knock that on with the rest of the painting. So the sun comes out and we have a whole new, or potentially a whole new painting. Just getting a few scar holes there. What am I using on my palette? Titanium white, lemon yellow, cobalt blue, ultramarine and cerulean. Some orange, burnt sienna, alizarin crimson, yellow ochre and red light. So a few extra colors, the cobalt and cadmium orange being the main extras. And I'm using the orange with lemon yellow and ultramarine and just getting a range of warmer green colors to do the background tree line. So everything from dark to middle to light. Mixing a few of these, working out a few ideas as I go, scraping back and adjusting. I have an idea in my mind of the colors I want. Some warm orange, orangey greens, and then some lighter yellowy greens, but generally more vibrant, a little warmer, but not that vibrant that the trees are going to come forward too much either. But as I said, when you get the sky the right shade, then it has a knock-on effect and everything else is going to be pushed a little further as far as color is concerned. Using a big brush at the moment, a number 8 bristle brush, trying to get the big shapes. Actually, I'm trying to keep the big shapes. I think that's more accurate because one thing I did with this painting is keep shapes fairly big, kind of abstract almost, and nice and loose. So I don't want to give that all away now and tighten up the painting too much. So a big brush definitely helps with that. And by the way, if you want to learn more about a loose painting style like this, check out my course called Loosen Up Your Painting. You'll find it on my painting school site online. Follow the links in the description and you'll get to that as well, and you can see that course if you're interested in that sort of painting. Light is coming from left to right, so get everything reading correctly. Your shadow pattern and your light family colors all must relate to the sky and what's coming from the sky. Alright, I'm going to test out a few more colors for the grass in the foreground. Just get an idea of what I want. And I've added a cadmium deep yellow. The cadmium yellow lemon is perfectly fine, but in this case it's giving me a greenish yellow that's just a little too cool. It's fine for the background colors like this. The lemon yellow and some cerulean and white gets you that desaturated, cooler color, but right in the foreground a lot of deep yellow will be required to really lift up the foreground. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do here. I'm going to try and raise the key of the painting from a more somber key to something a bit lighter. I'm going to cut in a little and just adjust the shape of this cow in the focal area. Just make it a little smaller. And unfortunately that means I'm going to pretty much have to repaint the whole cow as well, but it's unavoidable when you go this far. This is also a good example of getting broken color without any strong value contrasts. So greenish yellows, warm yellows, light yellows, cool yellows. I'll bring in a bit of yellow ochre as well, and even a little bit of burnt sienna to keep a variety of colors, all within that light yellow value, but plenty of variety that the eye picks up. Now in the foreground, well, I should say in the original scene, there is a little farm dam in the foreground, and I'm going to bring that in this case. And why am I doing that? Well, it gives a nice light, bright note in the foreground, but also reflects some of the sky color. And I will try and reflect some of the trees as well, all helping to create a harmony of color. I could, of course, just do the whole foreground, a series of greenish yellows. But this is in the original scene, and I think it will add a little bit of extra punch to the foreground and some interest to the viewer. Basically using the sky colors a little darker, picking up some of those trees from the background, but keeping that very, very underplayed. The cow is reflected in there as well, but also just very lightly. I think the mind's eye, if I can call it that, picks up a lot of things like this. You don't have to overemphasize everything. Alright, time to start reworking the cow itself. Although it's pretty much a silhouette in the shadow, there's some light at the back of the cow that I've got to push as well. And getting this shape with a fairly large brush, number 6 round brush that I'm using, can sometimes be quite tiresome, but you must persist. The end result is usually worth it. I don't like getting caught up in over-describing a subject like this. I really believe it doesn't suit me at all. It doesn't take the painting any further, doing the objects, whether it's a car or people in the landscape, doing them in a very detailed fashion, doesn't advance the idea I have for an impressionist painting. So I will keep working on developing the cow shape, and until I'm satisfied that I've got just enough looseness, but more importantly that there's a sense of strong light on the cow as well. When all that's done, then it'll be complete. Now I'm taking a break from painting the cow and going back into those trees to bring in those orange greens I was talking about. And this is one style or one characteristic of my particular painting, is that I will work all parts of the painting. I won't stick to one area until it's complete, because the painting is not just one thing, it is various parts, and you've got to give equal attention to all of them, and that results in a more harmonious painting. Just a little bit of shadow to bind the cow to the surface. And now the others in the background, using a combination of positive shapes and also cutting in with the negative shapes to get something that resembles a cow in long grass at quite some distance away. So I have to try and create that illusion of space using the smaller shapes. Just now number 4 brush coming in to develop some of the much smaller shapes in the scene, adding a few little accent colors, letting a bit of light through, and a little detail with these fence posts. Just a composition element to link up foreground to middle ground. And then we're pretty much done. A few highlights in the water and a few little dark shadow improvement. Sign it off, and well, you can have a look at before and after, and hopefully you agree that it has improved from this version to this one. Well, I hope that's inspired you to maybe refresh some older paintings. If you're not happy with a painting, you're never going to really do anything with it. So have another go at it. Just paint over it and make those adjustments you think are necessary. Yes, it is a bit of a risk. You could end up with something that just doesn't work out. But if you're pretty sure with what you're going to be doing, it's well worth taking the risk. And in this case, I was really happy with the improved painting. Try something and take a risk, and it could be well worth it. Well, if you found this video interesting, educational, entertaining, please give it a like, share it as well if you can, and of course subscribe to this channel. I post regularly and you can find regular updates if you subscribe and hit the notification button. Don't forget, I've also got a free course for you up here, and there's something in the description to this video that you can try out for yourself and enjoy. Well, until next time, happy painting and cheers for now.